His actions killed 10, left 16 others injured, and caused an indescribable amount of pain to 26 families. He not only traumatized a city, but also those living with autism spectrum disorder. As we told you earlier on City News, the driver in the Toronto van attack was found guilty on all counts today, and the trial tested a key section of Canada's criminal code.
But there's been a lot of stigma associated with folks on the autism spectrum.
The defense's key argument at the van attack trial was that where Alec Manassian's specific autism diagnosis landed on the spectrum made him unable to understand his actions on April 23, 2018, were morally wrong. Thus, he should be found not criminally responsible. Michael Canetti was diagnosed in his mid-50s with high-functioning autism, similar to Manassian. Do you feel like autism was on trial here?
What they were trying to do, had this been successful, was push back all the way back to the dark ages of the 1960s, where autism was considered a form of childhood schizophrenia.
During the trial, a psychiatrist for the defense claimed that Manassian's autistic way of thinking was severely distorted, similar to psychosis. Autism Canada called the statement egregious.
I think that we're at a place where we need to start thinking about NCR verdicts perhaps differently, less conservatively than we have in the past.
As part of her verdict, Justice Anne Malloy conceded she now believes ASD qualifies as a mental disorder within the meaning of Section 16 of the Criminal Code, though Manassian himself didn't meet the threshold.
So she ultimately agreed with my legal submissions about how the law should be interpreted, and with my submission that ASD, and not just ASD, but many other diseases of the mind can fit within the legal definition.
Section 16 of the Criminal Code states no person is criminally responsible for an act committed or an omission made while suffering from a mental disorder that rendered the person incapable of appreciating the nature and quality of the act or omission or knowing that it was wrong. Criminal lawyer Kim Schofield believes it's important to test our laws, even when controversial.
As society changes and as mental health assessments and law develops, so should the reaction to a not criminally responsible claim. So because they weren't successful in an NCR finding does not mean we have not moved forward in the Canadian criminal justice system. We have moved forward. Wins, losses, or NCR findings move the law forward.
If Manassian's defense had been successful, he would likely have been placed in a psychiatric treatment facility instead of prison. Experts point out the vast majority of people with autism are nonviolent and are often the recipients of violence. As for Manassian's sentence, that will be discussed at court on March 18th.